On August 5th, 2020, India's Prime Minister entered the sanctum with his closest associates to lay the foundation for the Ram Temple. The momentous occasion was marked as far away as New York's Times Square. But for Narendra Modi, the moment was personal. As a lifelong RSS member, Modi had spent much of his adult life in trying to get the Lord Ram Temple built. With a 40-kilo pure silver brick, Narendra Modi set the foundation for the Ram Temple and for a new India. I'm Ali Mustafa, and in Decoded this week, we track India's slide towards illiberal majoritarianism. It's 1992. Highly charged Hindu fanatics descend on a 16th century mosque in the Indian city of Ayodhya. They say the mosque was built where a temple once stood, marking the birthplace of the Hindu deity Lord Ram, a claim verified by the Archaeological Survey of India. The destruction of the Babri Mosque was the result of a long struggle by a shadowy movement, outlawed many times, but now at the center of political events. The Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, or RSS, was founded as a Hindu nationalist paramilitary group inspired by European fascists in the 1920s. In its earlier years, the RSS was influenced by German Nazis. This man, M.S. Golwalkar, called Muslims parasites and praised Hitler's extermination of the Jews. The RSS was outlawed after the killing of Mahatma Gandhi by former RSS member Nathuram Godse, while Godse and another accomplice were sentenced to death. An alleged co-conspirator walked free. Vinayak Damodar Savarkar was a Hindu supremacist who was one of 9 accused co-conspirators. The plan to assassinate Gandhi was allegedly hatched at Savarkar's house, but he was acquitted due to lack of evidence. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who is a lifelong RSS member, often pays tribute to Savarkar. The destruction of the Babri Mosque energized the RSS base. Hindus had finally avenged centuries of perceived Muslim injustices. And in 2019, India's Supreme Court handed the contested land to a trust to build the Ram Temple. It also gave 5 acres of land elsewhere for the purpose of building a mosque. The Ram Temple's groundbreaking coincided with the 1-year anniversary of India scrapping disputed Kashmir's special status. Amendments to India's citizenship law that excludes Muslims and the setting up of a national register cited as further evidence of India's rapid Hinduization under the Modi government. Dozens of Muslims have been killed over suspicions of slaughtering or transporting cows considered sacred by Hindus. The cow protection vigilantes responsible have largely escaped punishment under the Modi government. The RSS was first outlawed after Gandhi's murder and for the last time after the destruction of the Babri Masjid. Yet, it emerged stronger each time because it was able to politicize discourse around the Ram Temple issue, and it reaped the benefits for doing so. Within 30 years of the Babri Masjid's demolition, the men who had helped organize the mobs found themselves in the corridors of power. And their rise to success was soaked in the blood of Hindus and Muslims. But it's not just Hindu nationalists who have sought benefits from the Ram Temple issue. The General Secretary of the Secular Liberal Congress Party, Priyanka Gandhi, has also endorsed the Ram Temple. She says it will usher in Hindu-Muslim harmony. So at the end of it, both hardline Hindu nationalist RSS as well as the Gandhian Congress Party back the Ram Temple and what it represents. And that's the Ram Temple Decoded. Send me your comments and suggestions on Twitter to Ali_Mustafa.